So welcome to this video, and in this video I'm going to be pointing out and explaining to you a very clear agenda in the media to promote and sell Satanism to young teenage girls specifically. And one of the main ways this is happening is through this program called The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which is currently in its third season on Netflix. And it's got a rating of 14, and it's aimed at young girls specifically because the protagonist, as you can see, Sabrina, is a girl, and most of the characters are female, and the male characters in the program are basically, they're not portrayed in a very positive light. So it's definitely, and it promotes itself as portraying a very strong feminist message. So it's definitely for young girls, and I'm going to explain to you and show you exactly what this program is promoting, and how this relates to other messages which are in the media right now, which are promoting exactly the same thing, and I mean exactly the same thing. But this is the most prominent one because it's so overt with its portrayal of Satanism. It does not hide it one little bit. Every bit of imagery you can see in this picture is satanic. So on the chair you've got an inverted pentagram at the top. You've got the inverted cross at the top as well, next to the pentagram. You've got the devil's horns behind the chair. You've got the devil's claws, kind of supporting Sabrina, and you've got the colours red and black. So I want you to just remember the colours. Remember that the colours red and black are satanic colours. Okay, I'll just show you. This is a satanic church in Colombia. Red and black are the colours of Satanism. So if there's two colours which most represent or most used in satanic worship or satanic representation, it's red and black. So just keep that in mind as I show you some of the other images that we're going to see. So Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is aimed at teenage girls. It's being promoted on everything to do with Netflix. It's being very well promoted, and it's in children's online magazines. It's you know what YouTube is like. It pops up adverts and interviews with the cast, and fun little things about Sabrina, and so it's really being promoted heavily to teenage girls. And so I typed in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina suitable for, and it said, parents need to know that Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is a dark drama. Well, that's an enormous understatement, as you'll find out. It's not just a dark drama, it's a evil and satanic drama about a teen girl with magical powers. So it sounds kind of harmless, isn't it? Sabrina in particular is tough but kind. She stands up for herself and for others against intense opposition, and she's a great role model for teens and tweens. So if you know what a tween is, it's someone who's not yet a teenager, like from 9 to 13. So she's a great role model for teens and tweens. This is Sabrina. This is the great role model for teens and tweens, because she basically gives her soul to the devil in this program. And this is a mild image, mild compared to some of the things this program portrays is beyond horrific. You would not even want to see it yourself. This is the great role model for teens and tweens. As you can see, she's possessed by evil, and she's in the process of venting her wrath and rage. And in this scene, she basically sets on fire two of God's angels and watches them burn. And she says, "I am the Dark Lord's sword." So she basically works for Satan. And the whole program is extremely gruesome, extremely, and I mean extreme. And it's all about Satanism. It's all about cannibalism and about demonic possession. There you go. You can see that's Sabrina demonically possessed. And at this point, I want to relate this to something else that we have been seeing in the media now for about a year. Billie Eilish, who's also portraying demonic possession and also aimed at teenage girls. Most of her fan base are teenage girls, and most of the viewers of Sabrina are teenage girls. So is it coincidence that we've got these two programs really prominently these two figures, Sabrina and Billie Eilish, in the teen culture at the moment? Well, let's explore some more and see if it's just a coincidence. So this is Billie Eilish portraying demonic possession, a bit like The Exorcist. If you remember The Exorcist, which took place in a young girl's bed. She was possessed by demons, and so this is the message. It's about demonic possession. As you can see, this is pretty dark, and this is a scene from The Exorcist. So a girl on her bed, and again it's the white eyes. It's the theme of white eyes to symbolize demonic possession, and Sabrina is now portraying it in a much more graphic detail. So this is the another of the promotional images. Happy Birthday Witch. So as you can see behind her, that is actually Satan. In the program, Satan is portrayed as a huge goat monster figure, obviously with horns. So that's Satan behind her. He's behind Sabrina. And on her 16th birthday, which is how the program kind of begins, she's expected to give her soul to the Dark Lord, to give herself over to Satan. And so the program goes into that, and the whole idea of what it would be like and what it means to give your soul to Satan, but portrays Satanism in a very, very positive light. This whole program portrays Satanism in great detail, pretty graphic and gruesome detail, and portrays it as a positive thing for women, because it basically sells Satanism as a form of empowerment. So this is, like I said, this is a feminist-orientated program, and it sells Satanism as a way of empowering young girls. Witchcraft, witchcraft is about self-empowerment, according to this program. So as you can see, this is the Twitter promotional image. Join the coven. We're waiting for you. So it's like an invitation into witchcraft. Welcome, witches. So this is very much aimed at teenage girls and promoting the idea of witchcraft and Satanism as a positive thing. So let's just read a little bit about some reviews of this program. The main premise is custom made to be relatable to teenagers, so that teenagers kind of feel comfortable with it and can relate to it. It's about a 16-year-old girl who goes to high school, loves her boyfriend and goes out with her friends. But also she's a witch, and her family members are proud Satanists. Throughout her infernal adventures, lots of disturbing things happen, and lots of messages are delivered. So, selling Satanism. In every episode of this series, the main selling points of Satanism are interwoven in the plot and presented in a way that is relatable to teenagers. So that teenagers can kind of understand Satanism. They can kind of say, yeah, actually, Satanism kind of makes sense. That's the intention of the program, and it clearly shows that. Sabrina's two aunts and cousin are staunch witches who yell out, "Praise Satan," whenever something good happens. However, they are not pointy-nosed harpies riding around on brooms, but they are likeable, intelligent women who act as caring mothers to Sabrina. In fact, all witches in this series are witty, charismatic, good-looking people that are open-minded and tolerant of all lifestyles. So it's painting this image of witchcraft. It's painting witchcraft in a positive light. People who are witches, who worship Satan, obviously, are open-minded, and they're tolerant, and they're kind of cool and hip. This is what the program does. To become a witch, Sabrina must go through a dark baptism and give herself to Satan. However, Sabrina has some questions which are used to educate the viewers about Satanism. At one point, Sabrina asks the high priest of her coven, "But the devil, he's an embodiment of evil." "Oh, incorrect. He is the embodiment of free will." Good and evil, those words matter to the false god, but the Dark Lord is beyond such precepts. Yes, throughout the series, God is referred to as the false god, an impotent and oppressive fatherly figure. To make the dark baptism even more appealing, the high priest adds, In exchange for their service and devotion, witches are exempt from hell. So of course, it's, as I said, it's painting this image of Satanism as being freedom. It's free will. So to worship Satan is about freedom, and that Christianity, or worshiping God, the real God, is about restriction and oppression, and having to control yourself. But with Satanism, you can indulge all your desires, and you don't even have to go to hell. Later in the series, the viewers are taught the satanic interpretation of the book of Genesis. Did Eve die when she ate the fruit, children? No, of course not. The false god lied to Eve because he desired to keep her naked and ignorant in his garden. But our Lord Satan, inhabiting a snake, gave Eve knowledge and set her free. So as we'll see later, Satan is often described as a liberating and empowering figure for women. So again, it's relating evil, Satanism, with goodness, with freedom, and Christianity is being connected with control. God lied to Eve because he desired to keep her naked and ignorant. So he wanted to control her, basically, and Satan wanted to free her. So it's basically turning around. This is what Satanism does, as you saw from the inverted crosses earlier on. It turns everything around, upside down. Everything that we know is right and good, it turns it around and says, actually, God is the evil one, and Satan is the good one. Now, you and I might think that obviously this is obvious, and it's ridiculous to even consider that we might believe that. But young children, young girls who may not be religious, when they hear this, then there is a chance that they will agree with this. The idea is to put these messages out and to persuade children that Christianity and God is an oppressive religion, and that Satanism is a liberating religion. To make Satanism even more appealing, the series also equates it with feminism. Nearly all of the men depicted in this series are angry, pushy, violent, homophobic, and judgmental brutes. When they're not bullying Sabrina's friend, these jocks call girls dogs and prudes. One of the first scenes of the series shows the jocks hitting Sabrina's friend Susie, who might become a transsexual. And to make things worse, the school principal, described as a misogynist, does not take action. Again, so it's the men who are to blame for the abuse. Who will save these girls from toxic masculinity? Witches, of course, powered by Satan. The message is clear. Since men are more physically powerful than women, witchcraft is the best way to get back at them. So it's promoting witchcraft and Satanism as a form of empowerment. This is exactly what the whole program is about. It's about Satanism being empowerment for young women in the face of the oppressive patriarchy. So to regain power, all they have to do is turn to Satanism, and they'll be empowered against the oppressive men. This is the message. Now, these are some of the reviews. So it sounds, if you read what Netflix says about the program and what other teen websites say about the program, they say, yes, this is great. This is empowering teenagers. The message, the word empowerment comes up frequently when you read what teen online magazines are saying about this program, because they're trying to push it. Netflix are trying to sell this, and of course they encourage websites, or they may even pay teen websites to promote their program so that it gets viewers. But this is what this is what parents have been saying. These are actual reviews on Common Sense Media, and parents are saying this. I'm an avid horror fan and would have guessed that I had seen everything that the horror genre had to offer. I don't mind gore, thrills, or chills. Parents, the chilling adventures of Sabrina is simply something else entirely. This show is unabashed in its portrayals of ritual sex, most instances involving minors, Satanic witchcraft, there are differences, and debauchery. One need only look at the promotional picture of the show to discern what the show is promoting. Satanism, of course. This show is satanic and means to indoctrinate viewers with such ideals. If you choose to watch this material with or without your children, you make this choice knowingly. I have major concerns about the effect that this type of material will have on impressionable, developing minds, and especially minds who are kind of religiously indifferent. They don't really have any religious calling or religious interest, and when they see the kind of perks of Satanism in the face of this oppressive male patriarchy that we live in, and how Satanism is actually a tool of empowerment, then it is going to appeal to a lot of young girls. There are images of hung witches shown. Someone is trapped in an iron maiden. This is brutal. It's like a cupboard with spikes in the door, and it's horrific. This part in particular spooked me a bit, as it goes on for quite a while. There's lots of blood and screaming, and we feel rather close to the character. Disgusting zombie-like eating sounds and screams are frequent in one episode. Lots of spiders in another episode. Suggested rape. Many ghosts, demons may appear creepy, but in my opinion, the ghost of a child with a slit neck, extremely bloody, who leaves bloody footprints wherever she goes, is the creepiest. And the part that freaked me the most so far, a person performs an autopsy on someone identical to himself, and he feels the entire thing. It's also implied that he eats his own heart. Now, can I remind you, this is aimed at teenagers, okay, 14 plus. But I've seen reviews online that children, well, anyone can watch it on Netflix. So any child whose parents gives them carte blanche to go onto Netflix and just watch any children's programs will be watching this. So it can be watched by anybody, but children, there's plenty of reviews of children who are 12, 13 watching this, and it's aimed at children from the age of 14 upwards. But it's important to understand that even the adults are finding this really disturbing. Really, really disturbing. Blatant agenda. What the hell, Netflix? Seriously, what are we trying to do to our kids? I guess if you want your kids to think Satanism is cool, underage orgies are great, murder and cannibalism are acceptable, hey, this is the show for them. Sprinkle in a little undercurrent of paedophilia and call it female empowerment. Yuck. Exactly.